Muy buenas chavales, bienvenidos y bienvenidas a otro vídeo para el canal. ¿Qué tal estáis, chicos? ¿Qué tal vuestra ya final de semanita? Espero que estéis de puta madre. Eso es, ahí los agapornis. Yo empiezo a hablar y ellos me persiguen. ¿Qué tal estáis, chavales? De puta madre, eso es. Y nada, que lo que iba, que es porque habéis tenido una buena semanita hasta ahora. Ya no queda nada para viernecitos y disfrutar de las buenas mecánicas. Así que nada, hoy como bien decíamos, vamos a ir con la DBDLeague, ¿vale? Con All Hallows League 2024. Que el otro día he metido la pata, que flipáis. Y lo peor es que ninguno de vosotros lo notasteis. O sea, yo soy una mierda de youtuber, pero chavales, pues joder, ya que yo soy una mierda de youtuber, coño, que tengo unos seguidores que sean de putísima madre, que me avisen de los errores que yo cometo. Si recordaréis, vale, en el primer vídeo lo dije que iba a analizar de todos estos partidos que son de fase de grupos, por así decirlo. Voy a analizar los partidos que yo vea más interesantes, porque si me pongo a analizarlos todos, me tiro hasta el 2026 analizando estos vídeos, ¿vale? Entonces la idea es que no duren tanto. Bien, empezamos. El primer vídeo que analicé fue Elysium contra Catalyst. El segundo vídeo que analicé fue Oracle contra Eclipse. Y literalmente me sudó toda la polla. Y para el tercer vídeo me fui directamente a los playoffs. O sea, lo podéis ver aquí, ¿vale? Que soy un mecánico de mucho cuidado. Primer partido Elysium contra Catalyst. Segundo partido Eclipse contra Oracle. Y tercer partido Elysium contra Rapture, que lo tenéis. ¿Dónde lo tenéis? Aquí. O sea, literalmente me fumé dos porrillos, vi aquí Oracle, vi aquí Eternal y dije, pues venga, aquí tenemos a Elysium, otra vez a por ellos. O sea, de verdad, soy mecánicas. Aquí, si veis, Elysium tiene dos partidos analizados. Así que, bueno, bien Borja, porque cada día eres más retrasado mental y la gente es bueno que lo sepa y lo note. Así que... Bueno, los playoffs los voy a analizar todos, ¿vale? Desde aquí, que empiezan los playoffs con Eternal contra Severance, que eso ya vendrá en el futuro, ¿vale? Pero que sepáis que los voy a analizar todos los partidos, ¿vale? Porque playoffs ya lo considero que ahí no llega cualquiera, a los playoffs, no llega cualquiera, ¿vale? Entonces, bueno, siguiendo el curso normal de los vídeos, ¿vale? Vamos a ir al siguiente partido, que es Eternal contra buenísimo AMD Software, que me avisa de que ha detectado pollas en vinagre. Muy bien, luego lo veo. Por favor, AMD, déjame un poquito en paz. ¿Algo más? Es que acabo de instalar el programa de AMD Radeon. Vale, después de que AMD Radeon me joda el vídeo, vamos con eso. El siguiente partido, que es Eternal contra Renance. Renance. Joder, Renaissance. Joder, es que vaya nombres que se me ponen aquí los equipitos. El siguiente partido seguramente sea Calamity contra Chace. Joder, que los nombres son todo mecánicos. ¿Vale? Entonces eso. Infinite contra Cynic también es un buen partido. Os recomiendo que lo veáis si queréis. Pero eso, yo voy a ir a los platos gordos, ¿vale? Aquí en la fase de grupos. Ya cuando lleguemos a los playoffs, los analizaré todos los partidos, ¿vale? Así que nada, después de contaros cómo puedo llegar a ser tan retrasado, vamos al partido, que es Eternal contra Renaissance. Joder, en todo este vídeo no lo voy a decir bien a la primera. Así que nada, el primer partido, ya sabéis que esto es al mejor de tres. De hecho, cuando en el anterior vídeo era ganar tres veces, era el mejor de cinco. ¿Cómo no lo noté? De verdad, es que os lo juro que soy súper retrasado. Bien, es al mejor de tres en, digamos, las fases de grupos. Hay que ganar solo dos partiditos. Y bueno, la primera ronda es Spectro, que ya lo estamos viendo en pantalla. La segunda partida va a ser Chucky, otra vez de nuevo. A mí me viene muy bien el Chucky, porque he visto muy poco Chucky en competitivo y me viene de puta madre, la verdad. Y el tercer partido, si es que lo hay, ¿vale? Porque no, el tercer partido es desempate, si se meten un 2-0 se acabaría. El tercer partido es Oni, ¿vale? Pero bueno, yo ya lo sé si se juega Oni o no se juega, pero no os voy a hacer spoiler para que podáis disfrutar del vídeo hasta el final. Bien, empieza el killer de... Este equipo no lo conozco, ¿vale? No les conozco, pero bueno, si han llegado hasta aquí serán bastante buenos. Pero bueno, al fin y al cabo están contra Eternal, seguramente el mejor equipo que hay en la actualidad. Entonces es un partido jodido para ellos. Pero os digo solo que este equipo serán un equipazo. Van con Spectro, se juega en Lery, un mapa que da mucha ventaja, en este caso, al Killer Spectro. y va con reaparecer rápido y romper rápido. Me parece una elección de A2 de puta madre. Y joder, tengo que ver cuál es esta perk, que ya la han usado 2 veces y no me la sé. Como es de Drácula, del vampiro, me la tengo que aprender, porque esta perk no. De hecho, mirad, para tal, lo voy a ver ahora con vosotros, porque me jode no saberlo. Me jode mucho no saberlo, sinceramente, porque eso parece no, pero es bastante importante. Unique perks, vale. Vamos a traducir al español aquí. Vale. Y esta es maleficio, supongo, ¿no? Destino miserable. Supongo que es esta. Vale, sí. Traducir otra vez. Madre mía, este es vuestro youtuber de confianza. Pero bueno, después de que una se completa, bueno, esta perk se activa y enciende un totem opaco aleatorio. Maldición de la obsesión. Reduce su de reparación en un 33%. Hostia, de gratis. Hostia, que bien. El aura del totem se le revela en un radio de 12 metros. Bueno, sí, está bien, la verdad. Para que la obsesión esté jodida, en plan, ¿te hacen un motor? Pues toma, la obsesión va a reparar un 33% más lento, que es muchísimo, ya un 33% es mucho. La obsesión va a reparar muy lenta, pero claro, esta perk interesa que tú no persigas a la obsesión, en plan, que persigas a cualquiera menos a la obsesión, en plan, a cualquiera, literalmente. Porque si persigues a la obsesión, digamos que la obsesión está ocupada y sus 3 compañeros están reparando a saco, por lo que no le sacas fruto a la perk. Por eso hay que intentar, si tenéis esta perk, que os digo, es una buena perk, intentar no ir contra la obsesión. Con el espectro está muy bien, porque le puedes dejar herido, le dejas herido, tiene que buscar el tótem si quiere reparar si quiere reparar a velocidad normal, si se pone a reparar está herido y encima va a reparar más lento. Pero sí, es una buena perk, sin duda. Yo os digo, muy buena perk. Así que entiendo que la elijan, lo entiendo bastante bien. Vale, va con candado, interesante. Creo que es la primera vez que vemos candado en All Hallows League. Gancho flagelante y ruina. Que sepáis que ruina se puede llevar con gancho flagelante, porque aunque ruina baja los motores cuando no están los suplentes haciéndolos, el gancho flagelante baja ese porcentaje cuando tú cuelgas en un gancho blanco, ¿vale? Que lo sepáis. Así que este combo está muy bien. Y candado funciona sola, siempre va a ir bien. Aunque candado en competitivo no la veo, porque como te encuentren en la ruina y te quiten el totem y luego dejen un motor al 99%, siempre va a afectar candado a ese motor. Siempre. Entonces lo tienen como muy localizado ese motor y saben cuándo van a tener que hacerlo. Por eso a mi candado no la compro, la verdad, en competitivo. En pública siempre va muy bien, porque ese nivel no existe. Pero aquí yo creo que es un error. Pero bueno, estas 3 perks muy bien elegidas. Así que vamos a la partidita. Joder, vaya introducción me he metido. ¿Cuántos han sido? 8 minutos de introducción, chavales. En fin.
Role here in this, I would say. Definitely going to come out as the stronger team, at least in the fantasy and the expectations, by a lot here. We are going to see DW, probably don't worry. Is this supposed to mean I would worry if I'm going against the survivor roster of Eternal, but Larry's definitely a map where you can make a lot of work for yourself. We are going to make this little loop here, trying.
Aquí muy mal el killer, muy mal, hay que amagar un poquito.
To go for
Aquí lo que tenéis que hacer, chicos, es él ha encendido la invisibilidad desde aquí. Error grande, porque el survey lo tiene muy fácil para meterte paletazo. Estás a unos 3 metros de distancia, o 2 metros y medio. Esto es muy fácil. Aquí lo que hay que hacer es poner la invisibilidad aquí, ¿vale? Más o menos por aquí. Yo me la pondría justo aquí, en esta runita, en plan que estás más o menos en mitad por izquierda o mitad por derecha. Así al menos si haces un amago por un lado, te puedes poner otro e intentar meter el hit. Pero si tiras la invisibilidad desde aquí, o sea, la salida de la invisibilidad, el superviviente va a tener toda la ventaja. Y aquí, ya os digo, se vuelve visible y va por aquí y tira un hit que no va a dar nunca, ¿vale? Porque el supervisor tiene que correr y ya está. Aquí mal jugado por el kill.
To make this little loop here, trying to go for an ambitious swing. Spitz not going to take the injury right here, going for the vault instead, taking some distance. So overall, a good start for the team so far.
Uy, aquí Spitz muy mal, se ha comido la pared literalmente. Ahí no sé qué le ha pasado a Spitz, ha mirado mucho para atrás.
First hit is coming in, vaulting over the pallet and making some distance between himself and the killer. Spitz, however, like you said, with the first hit being a miss.
Vale, lo que tiene que ir ahora es ir a por otro surby. A ser posible a por otro surby. Porque de hecho, os acordáis de esta perk de la obsesión, hay que intentar pasar de ella, ¿vale? Intentar pasar, porque cuando te reparen, te interesa no estar persiguiéndolo.
Got some time on the table for his own team, but I was going to question if
Adiós la ruina.
W is going to...
Ahora el candado lo pueden tener manejado donde ellos quieran, el motor que ellos quieran, decir, este motor al 99% y ya está, y ese motor se come el candado siempre.
Continue this chase, but we're leaving Spitz now and we immediately find someone else. Nightlight in the hot seat now.
Aquí Nightlight no ha mirado nada por detrás y se va a la galleta gratis. Aquí Nightlight ha ido muy confiado al centro del mapa.
Nightlight taking the next injury here too so far, looking good for the Wraith in that perspective. Surprising to me that we don't have anything to extend these injuries, because usually the Wraith is a killer that, at least in Season 9, was played as a lot of hit and run killer, and then trying to slowly catch someone who's unaware of the position. Trying to go for the blind here, doesn't work out. Zaka though as an assist around, trying to take a hit for the team member that is injured.
¿Qué está haciendo el killer?
Distracting with the flashlight there as well, looking very confident from the start. It is this
Uy, ha ido a por Nightlight porque sabía que estaba por aquí, pero justo se coló en su cara. Qué mala suerte.
typical Eternal gameplay, nice coordination, wasting time of the killer, confidence here as well, making sure
Muy bien, Elite aquí saltando para que pierda
the
tiempo.
Wraith is losing some extra time, needs to fake the uncloak, then eventually being
No, aquí muy mal. Aquí no puedes ponerte a quitarte la invisibilidad justo delante del palet. Porque así, o sea, sabéis que cuando estás siendo de la invisibilidad, el espectro está muy lento. Y claro, el superviviente coge ventaja hacia el siguiente palet que está justo en esta habitación a la derecha, a la altura al lado de las camas.
allowed to kick the pallet. Claudette trying to fake
Ah, no, este es el de los baños, vale, me he equivocado con el de las camas. Aquí está el palet, aquí está.
that she would use that. Is going to work.
Pero os digo, aquí mal jugado otra vez por el espectro. Con el espectro solo hay que tener una cosa clara, aparte de los mind games con la luz. Saber cuándo tienes que salir de la invisibilidad. Ya está. Y ya con eso tienes mucho aprendido.
As well, Nightlight going to successfully move towards this pallet here, and so far we can get a little bit of taste what this trial is going to look like if the plan of Eternal is working out. So far they are looking
Ahí era hit sí o sí.
very confident and very strong on the survivor side.
They're showing us their expertise right off the bat. We have the first gen done. Both of the survivors who have been injured previously have fallen back for health now. Nightlight on the injured state again, but he's putting up a great fight and looking.
Muy bien, ahí Spitz protegiendo.
That full life Spitz coming to the save, taking another hit for his teammate, and it's typical Eternal gameplay. Like you said, it's coordinated. They're coming in to help each other. This might be the first down, however, but
Muy bien aquí DW.
look at when it happened. Oh, don't be too short in the pallet. You see the scratch marks all around. Spitz still trying to be the knight in shining armor. Has a quad pallet in his hands. I almost thought he was going to go for the save here, but drops it as
God pallet a tomar por culo.
well. And DW is going for another chase, leaving Lightlight on the floor, getting a bit of more pressure on these survivors because now they have to handle Jan's resets and
Muy bien aquí DW.
to pick up of Nightlight, which they've handled as well. Spitz going down though, so this should mark the first hook stage for DW.
Very nice work against the Eternal survivors. We have seen weaker killers like the Wraith getting such other results against Eternal, some of them even leading up to 0 stage. Therefore, the first hook stage on 4 gens is still something where you can
¿Cómo me pone nervioso esto, tío? Me ponen a un pavo curando a otro. Que muy bien, pero pónmelo un segundito para que yo lo sepa, pero ya está, no hace falta que vea toda la cura.
gain confidence, you can tell yourself.
Se ha comido ese palet en el peor lado posible, ¿vale? Vamos
For the
a
first
verlo.
hook stage on 4 gens,
Vale, se ha comido el palet, aquí Zaka lo habrá hecho bien, pero aquí el killer muy mal. Tú este palet te lo puedes comer, no hay problema en comerte este palet, pero siempre tienes que dejarte al superviviente en el lado exterior, siempre. Porque si lo dejas en el lado de fuera, te vas a comer el palet y él va a tener todo el mapa para jugártelo. Pero si te comes el palet hacia adentro, no pasa nada, o sea, no es un gran error. Simplemente lo vas a dejar en este lado y vas a jugar con él en plan hacia qué lado vas. Pero aquí el killer muy mal jugado.
is still something where you can gain confidence. You can tell yourself, well, that worked quite well for me. The plan that I was setting up here on Larry's Memorial Institute is still going to fall together. Nightlight moving in for the unhook right there. Spitz now being back into the trial. Eternal's priority.
Está tuneleando. Es más importante que me enfoquen a un Pau que está reparando a la Chase, en fin.
Will be keeping all 4 survivors alive as much as possible and as long as possible, but DW has a little bit of a problem with that. He would like to cut down Eternal down to 3 survivors because that
palete es muy malo,
means that the generator efficiency
muy bien aquí el killer, muy bien. Os lo dije, es que este palete es muy malo.
is greatly reduced, and he's going to make an ambitious but successful swing that also denies the pallet save being possible. Very nice.
Está cometiendo el error de ir a por la obsesión cuando tiene esta perk, la verdad, pero bueno.
Very great that you have the second hook stage right there. That also means that Zaka, who returned over to this pallet, has wasted a little bit of time.
Well, second stage going in. We see 2 gens with
Pero ponme la persecución, por Dios, que va a empezar ya.
a little bit of progress. But Nightlight has to leave his gen because it's been Dan who's kind of taken on the role of the gen jockey, trying to put a bit more pressure on the objective while one survivor was in chase. Dark on Nightlight and Spitz with kind of the trio trying to keep the chase for as long as possible. Now Spitz in the second phase, trying to use their time a bit more efficiently on the objectives. Nightlight trying to keep this gen from regressing, but DW got a problem with that. There's another.
Aquí les he fumado porros.
They're dropping that one, and ooh, that one was cold.
Le han metido por los demás, muy bien hecho.
Went against the wall, leaving this immediately. Spits off the hook, Nightlight with the people coming out, but you know who wants one to survive out of the trial? That's DW.
And now it's going to be the punishment for the play here. Trying to save Spitz is going to cost you your own life, is the narrative for this chase. Nightlight being put down onto the floor. Eternal now finishing the second generator in this trial. Good efficiency there. Sometimes I'm wondering how they are getting all this
Gancho flagelante.
while showing
No sabemos usar gancho flagelante.
us so much of team play. There's always someone around with the flash.
Está reparando muy cerca del gancho, eso puede llegar a ser un problema grande.
There's always someone around for the pallet save, and
El killer se fue un porrillo.
these generators are getting completed. Spitz with a very confident chase around this pallet here. We know him from season 9. The most famous highlight, I would say, is him juicing on the edge map, and he's showing that
Muy bien aquí Spitz, muy bien.
right here as well. Great reaction.
Se la comió antes, pero ahora no.
Not going to allow the hit coming through, stunning the killer and taking some extra time off. Now onto the run here. He can even take a hit and make it over to the next save tile, but I'm not sure if the Wraith still decides to go after him. Instead, we are now going to face Zaka, and this is the difficulty. Yeah, you can try go for the elimination, but when the survivors don't let it happen, and Eternal certainly doesn't allow it, you need to find this good moment where you're switching back to defending the generators, and I feel like it's a good decision by DW to prioritize the objectives, even though he's now back on Spitz.
Which technically would be a surviving woman out a bit earlier during the trial, but now 3 survivors injured. Only Dan would be able to take a hit. The question is, are they going to go for it, or are they telling themselves, okay,
Vale, para que tiene aquí, es el único para que tiene.
okay,
Ya este vale no es bueno, creedme que no es bueno.
maybe we can spare Spitz and take all the gens for now, because they've had quite a lot of progress on the objectives. This chase, however, is going to have a lot of impact on how this.
Aquí ya habría pillado algo de Bloodlust y le tiro con un Blast nivel 1. 100%. Rompiendo así le das tiempo a llegar al siguiente palet.
Deciding to get the pallet out of the way, so we need to move on. But is there anything you can find to save yourself? No, and no Dan to be in.
Vale, no tenía palet en esta casa, en esta sala, entonces no he dicho nada.
That Spitz going down and leaving the trial as well. The question, however, is we haven't seen a replay coming out just yet, so maybe another gen is about to pop. They're leaving this one, but it's about 90%. Shouldn't take too long before they're going to pop that one. So now it's a 3v1
Adiós, Spitz.
instead of a 4v1. Gens are looking tight. Eternal's looking great.
Yeah, they're just doing both. Blue. You are asking, where's the reset? Where are the gens? They're just doing both casually. They're doing the reset and the generator. it's very easy, as we see right here. Nightlight taking the injury though, but he will successfully make enough distance into the corner of the map where no generators are progressed. So DW has no interest in chasing Nightlight over there. Therefore, he's going to rotate back towards the main room area of Larry's Memorial Institute. Most of the comp player call is the top side of Larry's, and that's going to be...
Aquí no hay nada, aquí no hay ni un palet.
Now Dan, the man in the next chase. We haven't seen much from him yet.
Aquí todos van a caer, todos absolutamente.
So far, this is his time to shine. He is in a much better position for the Wraith than Nightlight was, because here there are some active generators, and besides this window that the Wraith is unfortunately not able to block, there's not much that he can work with here, but
Tienen que slugar sí o sí.
still doing a successful
Bueno, tengo gancho flagelante, no he hecho nada. Con gancho flagelante es mejor colgar.
double circle around
Suponiendo que lo tenga cerca,
this room, going to take 5 to 7 extra
Qué pena. Muy mal.
seconds, but cannot avoid the hook stage coming in. Though all the generators are now being completed, meaning that we have a fresh hook on. Eternal might not care too much about this, but if Dan would be eliminated here, we would talk about 7 stages, which is a good result for Renaissance, I would say, but definitely not one where you can chill when you are up on the survivor side.
Well, we might be going for more. We're quite far away from the hook, so that leaves some room for Nightlight to maybe go for the safe, or at least propagate to get out quite easily. But he can't leave Ben on hook now. You need to go for the safe, because losing 2 survivors here, that would be detrimental to them. So there goes the safe. Might even go for the reset, but I think the gate is going to be first. And then Nightlight still being full of could take a hit for Zaka if he's able to play the chase for this long. Question is about the resource. Because like you said, we've used quite
Muy bien aquí el espectro, muy bien hecho.
a lot, and there goes the grab, forcing him to pick up right away. Someone's close, but not close enough for a cheeky flashlight save. So there you go, it's going to be another hook stage for DW. And we've been praising Eternal for their game on Larry's until now, but I think DW is now starting to get quite a lot of stages. It puts Renaissance in a way better position than one might have suspected from the get-go.
Individual hook stage as well, which might become relevant for the win condition. Remember, in case you're new to DBDLeague, if the killers have achieved the same amount of hook stages, we are comparing the number of individual survivors that played a part of this. So 7 stages on 3 survivors is worth less than 7 stages on 4 survivors. The killer that hooked 4 survivors for that will always win, and sometimes this is coming in clutch. So having Zaka here as a new fresh hook basically is definitely improving the win condition by a good chunk. It seems like Eternal is still opting to this Wraith skin is always amazing me again and again. But it seems very clearly that Eternal is attempting to get 3 survivors out here. Dan is around, Nightlight is coming in as well. Though we have seen that DW has done good in defending the hook so far, so Eternal should be careful here.
Especially now that Zaka has entered second stage. Before that, it wouldn't have mattered which survivor was going to get out of the battle, because the other 2 were on the third stage as well. But now, Zaka's off from hook, Nightlight half.
Tiene esta perk, lo que va a hacer es curarse. Esta perk cuando pase este tiempo se cura solo el superviviente. Se me va a segundo aliento, si no recuerdo mal.
Life, they need to get all of them out now to make this worthwhile. I believe we do have a second win on Zaka, so he just needs to hang in tight to be full health and basically safe out the gate. But then a Nightlight. Looks like they're good to go.
¿Veis? Justo, pum, curado Zaka.
As well. Zaka's back to full health. This could be a 3-man escape after all. Or if you can take a hit, Zaka, you now need to be there saving grace.
Muy bien el killer de aquí, muy bien, muy atento.
Coming in, but he hits through him. Dance on the ground. That might mark an additional stage for DW. And now, where is Zaka going? Back into the map. Going for another reset.
Que echa la otra. Yo echaría esta, cojo a este y ya está. Y me aseguro los colgos.
Might be. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with this very forced we need 3 escapes, because you also need to see what you're having for the upcoming trial, right? 100% it's going to be Zaka playing the Wraith, and that's a killer who can realistically go for quite a lot of stages above 9, I would say.
Pues menos mal que ha hecho esa muy buena maniobra al final, porque si no se le escapaban 3. Habría hecho un gran error al ir a por Claudeta cuando le han hecho el descuelgue. Pero bueno, muy bien, 3 cuelgues y 3, 6, 7, 8 cuelgues. Bueno, está bien, es un buen resultado, pero se puede mejorar, ¿vale? Porque en teoría, eso, Spectrum en este mapa es un buen mapa para él. Vale, vamos con el espectro de Zaka, que para mí, sinceramente, es el mejor que he visto en mi vida, ¿vale? Es mi opinión personal, en competitivo es el mejor, ¿vale? Para mí el que mejor lleva el espectro, no solo por decisiones, sino por mecánicas. Aunque parezca un killer sencillo, tiene su complejidad, joder, que no sé hablar, y eso, es más difícil de lo que parece a primeras. Inmortal, favor de sangre, ruina, carnicero, chapucero, muy buenas perks, la verdad, hacen un combo perfecto, y si cuanto más le aguante a favor de sangre, mejor para él, ¿vale? Porque es una perk muy fuerte, muy fuerte. Y nada, reaparece rápido y romper rápido, las mismas hados de siempre. A ver, ¿qué tal?
Back on the Larrys, and it's Zaka the monster who has to save it-ish for Eternal, because last game we've had 9 stages on all gens done, and we all know there could have been more that the Survivors Team Eternal could have done, but Renaissance now has a very good chance of maybe taking
Como hacen mid-games en cualquier esquina,
this first set home, so let's see how their Survivors are going to do in this trial.
And it's going to be a lot of a challenge here against none other than Zaka, one of the most talented and most experienced killers that we have. The good news for Renaissance Survivor Team is that we had quite some extra stages that came out.
Os lo dije, es que lo tengo perfectamente calculado. Por el lado morado, de reaparecer rápido.
Onto their survivors at the end, 9 stages overall, so Renaissance can take some hook stages here before ultimately facing the loss. Blood Favor is going to come in clutch. This palette will not be playable for FH, also known as Sasua. A lot of you might remember him. He's in the scene for a lot of years. Unfortunately, though, he will go down.
Favor de sangre es que es una perk muy fuerte, muy fuerte.
On is the first one to Zaka.
Los Agapornis están a tope.
Zaka has claimed his first victim, putting SH on a hook, but there is quite a lot of progress on this gen. Seeing Nod run around like this makes you wonder though, is there a second one or maybe even a third which has similar amount of progress on them?
Encima ha caído en sótano.
I hope so.
Partidazo para SH.
Yeah, we definitely need some additional... Yeah, okay, I was about to say, if this would be only on one generator, it would certainly not be enough here, but the second generator coming out there is definitely something that looks really strong. We see the same technique that we have seen on the Eternal Survivors earlier, vaulting the pallet to prevent the Wraith that is cloaked to immediately break the pallet and forcing him into uncloaking, or at least uncloaking by 80% until it becomes too dangerous to keep mind gaming there. That's going to be not as the next injured survivor, but we have 2 generators completed, 1 hook stage so far. If you are asking me, Renaissance is playing this as perfect as they should be in order to make a win here.
Muy bien, aquí la Lara no deje que la adelante para que no le haga la 13-14. Muy bien, Lara aquí.
Oh, most definitely. Now that the first 2 generators are out of the way, they're starting to go in for body blocks as well. Reflection trying to take.
Muy bien aquí el equipo, muy bien la ayuda.
A hit for a Sage. Zaka making his way around, but only 1 from there is the body block. So more distance between a Sage and Zaka, but who are going to go for now?
Adiós el Inmortal.
Oh, it's the Undying, not the Ruin yet, so he still has something to work with. For Zaka, with this build, you can make a hit and run.
¿Veis lo que os dije? No he visto esta partida, ¿vale? Ahora, mira, no ha dado el hit, ¿vale? Pero lo ha hecho bien. ¿Cómo se hace así? Mira. ¿Veis? Más o menos reaparece en el punto medio de la estructura. Hace un amago por un lado y se va por el otro. Así es como hay que hacerlo, ¿vale? Ahora no ha dado hit, pues porque, mira, porque el Surby también juega bien. Las cosas como son. El Surby también juega. Aquí no solo juega el killer. Pero si el Surby hubiese hecho un pelín mal, se habría llevado hit. ¿Cómo hace? Reaparece aquí en el medio y hace amago por un lado y se va por el otro.
With this build, you can make hit and run more worthwhile, but we're still on the hunt
Muy bien SH, está jugando súper bien este chico o chica.
As H who comes now in with the stunners. Well, great chase coming out. This is valuable time for Team Renaissance.
Absolutely, yeah. Time is the most deciding factor, and they
Dios, qué follada le acaba de meter. Le acaba de meter una follada monumental, la verdad.
still also have some good and valuable pallets, and they don't even drop this one. They are showing us some confidence in moments like these where you need to make a long run and you are injured.
No tiene resiliencia, creo que no la tiene, luego lo veremos, pero para mí no la tiene, pero lo está haciendo súper bien.
People tend to pre-drop the pallets, and here Zaka not getting the injury even and the down neither onto this survivor. Instead we are running a little bit further,
Aguantó el palet,
taking some distance, wasting some pressure.
Súper bien SH, súper bien, o sea, increíble.
This time eventually though it's coming to an end, but the third generator is coming out in exchange for that. Right now I really think it's realistic that Renaissance is taking the set point here.
Honestly, Zaka's on the struggle bus. He's had a lot of pressure, which with the Sloppy Butcher and the Ruin and the Undying, you can make it happen. But he's been on the chase for so long that all three of the injured survivors, well, at least two of them, were back to being healthy. Now you've got the Hook Sage and
Por los demás de una.
no pressure across the map. 3 gens done. If they can keep SH in there for longer, hey, this set is not going to go to eternal if it keeps going like this.
Este hit muy malo, quizá acá se ha desesperado, yo creo.
Yeah, this is the only condition though, right? That they exactly play like they are doing it right now. If this is not going to happen, then Zaka will strike immediately and then he will play out all his experience. The Wraith though, realistically speaking, is a killer that relies on some survivor mistakes. You need to
Qué bien el Div, hijo, está jugando muy bien los supervivientes, de verdad, muy bien.
have the survivors having some struggles, and Strong is not having struggles at all, is confidently dropping the pallet here, making sure that he's not facing the injury and stunning Zaka for additional extra time. Hello little one, we are going to go into a chase here, trying to move around this pallet, not noticing the Wraith, but then having the sprint burst ready to go. Nice plays so far from the survivor team. SH or Sasua here with quite an impact for his team as well.
Aquí tienes un circuito muy pepino.
Next time that he's going to be mind gamed at the window, and he still stays the winner with that reflection, though the injured survivor
Aquí reflecto en Valpo.
is now coming over here, but Blue again.
Efectivamente, no queda nada.
I don't want to over compliment this survivor team, but I'm in love with what I'm seeing right now on my screen.
I really like what they're doing as well, but Zaka's decision making right now on point. He knows he needs SH out, but he can't continue the chase for too long because it won't put pressure on the other survivors. And look at this, another gen at 95%. This is gonna pop soon. Let's see if there might even be a second one with a lot of progress. Look at this, they're about to pop 2 gens. Zaka's in a very, very rough spot. He needs to up the pressure on the survivors with leaving Reflection on the ground now. They have another task to worry about, but he needs more. And now he finds someone. Dang, it's another fresh stroke survivor. How is he gonna match the stages we have?
Next
Muy bien ese mid-game.
generator being completed.
Muy bien aquí, Zaka.
One, and that
Esa miradita rápida derecha-izquierda, eso ha sido vital para este hit.
means one more objective and we are going into the end game. I really like what the team is putting up so far, and you mentioned it. How are you going to
Agilidad.
balance out the stages? And there comes into the memory what we have seen in the first set, right? Where Eternal
Ruina,
was
toma por
handing
culo.
out too
Esto es lo mejor que te puede ocurrir, que te quiten antes Ruina que favor de sacar.
many stages in the end game, and where they were not willed to take what they got. These additional stages are now definitely going to lead into more pressure for Zaka here. Not is going to take an additional injury, but injuries are not going to be enough to shut this survivor team down. We have made a nice turn, I guess, on the Larry's here. The vault is coming out, and now this should be the down, but
Qué bien en el Claudette.
I wouldn't be too surprised. Nice fake there. That he would use the pallet and then just holding W away. Zaka with this
Están jugando muy bien los supervivientes, de verdad. Están jugando súper bien, te lo juro.
swing and the miss into the corner of Larry's, and that needs to be a slug. Realistically, we need to defend these generators, and it's all too late. The final generator has been completed. Endgame
Encima tienen quebrantable el Noz, madre mía.
ahead of us. Unbreakable in the corner as well onto Nod. That is double punishing for Zaka. And we remember, everyone, the win condition is 9 stages on 4 would be the tie, so 10 stages overall. These survivors will certainly not take extra risk in the end game when someone is on the hook. But Yuichi is in risk in the end game because he has just been found, and he will be put down very quickly if he's not going to be successful with the mind game here. Reflection being put onto the ground. That's going to be
Bueno, ya está. Serán 5 goles y fuera.
going to take it
está,
with
son
that.
todos.
Meaning we have the 3 stages down there. We have reflection. That means
Pues 5 cuelgues nada más, frente a 8 del killer de Renance. Voy a hacer Renai. Y a tomar por culo, ala. Es que ya está, que sois un normal. Renaissance. Yo no sé decirlo en inglés como lo dice esta chica, lo dice estupendamente. Renounce. Bien, pues nada, primer partido para Renance. Yo os digo, han jugado muy bien los supervivientes. Muy bien. Es verdad, cierto que Zaka ha cometido errores, las cosas como son, pero es que han jugado muy bien los supervivientes. O sea, a nivel personal, en plan, en Chase se sabía mover por el mapa perfecto, los main games, todo muy bien. Zaka ha jugado bien, pero es que han jugado muy bien los supervivientes. Y cuando juegan muy bien los supervivientes, se nota que cuando vas con un killer que no es tan fuerte, baja. Al fin y al cabo es un espectro, que no es un killer fuerte. Bien, pues nada, sobre todo la primera chase del chico este, ¿cómo se llamaba? Del SH. O sea, las chase de este chico o chica, que no sé su sexo, han sido brutales. Y luego el David Skeng también brutal, Nod también lo ha hecho muy bien, o sea, menos Reflection, que ha tenido poco palets, el resto han jugado súper bien. Vale, Chucky en el mismo mapa, Nightlight con Chucky esta vez. Antes ha jugado Zaka de Killer, ahora él va con el addon de que esto dure un 50% extra, pero si das un M1 se te agota el poder al instante, ¿vale? Y este addon es carnicero chapucero con la embestida, básicamente. Y están llevando mucho este conjunto de perks que hace combo. Esto es Supervisión con Ruina, hace un combo perfecto. Y Inmortal ayudando a favor de Sangre y a Ruina a aguantar un poquito más la partida.
welcome back, everyone. We are exchanging our killer to something much smaller. It's
Ya saben que aquí está reparando.
going to be, it's Tiffany, I think, going to hunt the
Porque los supervivientes cuando empieza la partida siempre lo primero que hacen es ver si hay ruina. Siempre se van al motor, lo toquetean un poquito y ven si hay ruina. Entonces por eso aparecen amarillos.
survivors of the Renaissance team. They just put the absolute upset here. We have seen the win of the first set for Team Renaissance, and Nightlight is now with the responsibility to bring it back for Eternal with a nice start with the injury here.
Quick injury on Reflection. Another great start. Well, that's one totem down, but it's only a dying, so we're still good to go. Now that's nice, guys, and a little down coming as well. Nightlight on the
Que kill es más roto,
taking its first save in the first minute of our trial. Great start for Team Eternal. We have to mention though, once again, they're down 1-0. However, this is now their killer pick, so we're expecting even more from them.
Dame un segundo que voy a sacar a Oreo al pasillo. Fuera. Os lo juro que ese gato está loco, literalmente.
Good first chase here, and the very first
Vale, pues primero coloque muy rápido, la verdad, la quita el inmortal muy rápido, eso también es lo malo.
stage coming out as well.
Porque como te quiten ruina, Supervisión es una puta mierda de perk, básicamente.
Setting
supervisión funciona solo porque existe ruina.
The tone, this is not going to be as easy for Team Renaissance than in the previous trial. First generator is getting completed to the cost of an injury, but I do think Claudette is taking that very happily. David being around as well could be the second injury parallel to the hooked survivor, but not just yet. Reflection is being saved out of the basement, usually very tricky to rescue from, so they found a good timing.
Es que de verdad, qué killer más abrumador, tío.
And is it going to be a nice dash onto Reflection?
Golpe decisivo.
Beautiful, quick rehook possible with that. Nightlight not joking around at all.
And it's going right back down into the basement. And once it, oh, with the hate hook as well. Great. So even more distance that will have to be made if you want to get Reflection out of the basement. It's one gen done, but for what price? It seems like there might be a bit of struggle this time on the survivor side of Team Renaissance. One gen with a little bit of progress, not wide enough. Whether they in Chase, not as Half-Life. He can't go into the basement.
Por la liberación va a hacer esto.
Injuries. Oh, I guess we can go. I guess we're gonna trade.
Pero esto es cagada, esto es aunque tenga liberación es cagada gigante.
We try and risk a lot. It's definitely going to be a trade, because even though the deep wound onto Reflection, Sasua is not going to make it too far, so it's going to be the slug right here. Things are turning very difficult. You now have to take care of the slug. Reflection is facing the elimination very soon. Another survivor is injured. The to-do list for the survivor team blue is so long that I'm a bit worried.
Muy bien aquí el Reflection juntándose en esquinita.
Here.
Nice juke from Reflection though. They knew, however, that
Ya que Reflection muy mal.
Nightlight has gone a slug SH to go after Reflection, so they send the survivor with the Unbreakable after him, and then it worked at least for some time.
Pues uno fuera con 4 motores. Están todos muy jodidos.
Because SH is back
Vale, no he dicho nada, 2 motores. Ahora ya la partida se ajusta.
on back standing. However, Reflections out of the trial. The answer of survivors of Team Renaissance is 2 more gens being done. However, it's only 3 of them now, so loops have to be perfect if they want to take this with a good win condition. Oh!
Con la comba hubiese llegado.
Yeah, now it's getting more and more difficulty because we need a good mid-game chase boot. We need something long. We need something that is bringing back more time, because yeah, we have 3 generators
Es que qué killer más abrumador, te lo juro.
completed, but we have the elimination, and Nightlight doesn't stop. He's already on to the next survivor. He's making sure that more downs are coming through, more hook stages to waste time. And honestly speaking, if the survivor team is not finding themselves some wiggle room, some window of opportunity, this looks very straight up like a 4K. So the next chase that we are taking in the mid game needs
No va a poder reparar aquí. No va a poder reparar aquí porque el gancho está muy cercano.
to bring something long to the table.
Honestly, at this point during the trial, maybe ask yourself the question how important are chases at this point, because we know Chucky is a strong killer and you still have Ruin pop in as well. That's another problem for them. So maybe if you expect a 4K, which I think
Gaetoncia.
at this point maybe you do, maybe try and get some more gens up, because that might be the win condition after all. You also have the next
liada.
survivor already in chase.
Aquí este M1 no tiene sentido.
Is it ages?
Todavía te quedan como 3 segundos de favor de sangre.
Injured Skang is found. This is looking disastrous.
Next injury coming out onto David. Now we have both
Aquí Enlace se ha venido muy arriba.
standing survivors and remaining survivors injured, putting up even more pressure. Skeng and Sasua are responsible to somehow bringing this back. Nightlight could even defend the hook stage onto Not here, because we don't have too much progress onto the generators, so there's no urgency. You can defend the hook when you have injured survivors, or alternatively you're forcing them into the reset, which would make sure that he's going for
Es que killer más injusto en algunos sentidos, te lo juro.
free into second stage, but Sasua now going to face a nice dash attack, and this
Ya está, estos ya no van a hacer nada más.
It's also the second stage now, everything going against them. I feel bad for them.
Es que menuda reventada.
On the other hand, this is exactly what Team Eternal needs right now.
Esta no se usó inquebrantable antes, no lo sé, veremos.
Because, well, remind you, for one, you've been
Creo que sí lo usó, pero no estoy seguro.
has been used before, and for two, they're down 0-0, so it would be important to maybe possibly take us into a third set. That's far in the future, but
Aquí tiene que utilizar el reptar.
now they need to keep Nightlight at a distance for as long as possible, because not maybe... Oh no.
¿Cómo se raya el superviviente?
Oh no, please don't. The mind game's coming out. Because Not might have the chance to pick up one of his fellow survivors. Best
Muy
case
bien que lo de aquí.
is, but it's not looking too bright yet. And the sun coming out. How is he going to manage to put enough distance between himself and a killer like Chucky to be able to make this happen? Ooh.
No, try.
Aquí está jugando un poco en plan, se la suda, básicamente, pasa que están todos muertos.
Trying to even go over the pallet right there didn't work though. Would have looked very, very insane. Corner mind game, where is she? That's interesting. This is peak mind
La Gravity está jugando muy bien,
gaming, but he's not going to get that, unfortunately. That would have been a very much style points, but Blue, 4K2, Eternal, if everything is going to plan, but Eternal really taking it serious that Renaissance has won set number 1 and they are playing more than out of the minds right now.
Oh yeah, they're angry. They're not letting this thing happen just like that. Another hit coming
Muy bien aquí en el late.
out. All of the survivors on the ground as well.
Pues ya está.
Like you said, I think pretty clear.
Vamos a ver si SH tenía resiliencia. No fue en esta partida. Fuera del espectro. Quiero ver si tenía... Esto se me olvidó, perdón chicos, se me olvidó. Aquí estaba en contra del espectro de Zaka. SH tiene resiliencia. No, vale, ya solo eso. Pues nada, 4K le han hecho tres motores. Lo tienen, para mí que esta ronda va a ser para
Trial
Eternal.
number 4 every.
Vale, va con gancho flagelante, intervención, ruina. Para mí tener intervención y runa es un error, ¿vale? Porque al llevar intervención corrupta, los supervivientes van a pasar cerca de tótems y pueden encontrarse la ruina antes de lo debido. Y la perista de que cuando hacen un motor, la obsesión repara un 33% más lento. Va con el taladro, que lo que hace esta don es que si aciertas el hit con la embestida, te devuelve un 10% del tiempo. O sea, en vez de 12 segundos, creo que te tardas 9 segundos en recuperar el poder. O sea, en 9 segunditos, pum, otra vez el poder, muy rápido. Y carnicero chapucero en addon.
Everyone will come back. It's do or die for Team Eternal if they don't want to lose this 2-0. But they've performed really well on the killer side.
Yo habría ido con el addon rojo, El addon rojo es mucho mejor que el addon amarillo, Mucho mejor. Sobre todo en este mapa, en Vital. El addon amarillo es muy bueno, que lo sepáis, pero en este mapa es mejor el addon rojo.
No, Nightlight actually came out on the killer and put a performance, I think the best he could have done. So now it's on the killer for Team Renaissance to put up a performance that can live up to that.
So let's see if Renaissance is making another miracle here. Chucky on Larry, Spitzaka, Kexo and Dan better getting this into the tiebreaker, because a 2-0 against Eternal would be crazy in the group stage. Kexo is going to be the first one in a chase. And one thing, Blue, that we saw from the previous trial was that chases were not long enough on the side of Renaissance, and this getting them into trouble. So Kexo has the responsibility to make it a nice run here, but it seems like he's lost.
Oh yeah, he found survivors quite early, just like Nightlight did, but they're gone. He seems to have an idea where he wants to go though, but he needs to spot someone ASAP, because this already isn't the greatest start for him. Another scratch marks appearing in the distance. I think it's a set of 2 actually, so we spotted multiple survivors, which is good. But they're also running into the corrupted gens, I believe, so they're taking the chase already. If they were to be one... Oh no, Kexo. I was gonna say,
Muy bien,
someone
Kexo.
coming in. Great stuff from here. It's technically a safe pallet. The question is if it's going to be with a slice of ice.
Tiene un ping de la hostia, Kexo.
And oh, that's now going to be Chucky here with an ambitious swing because he realizes that he needs injuries and downs, but not being successful with that.
Qué humillada le acaba de pegar. Claro, aquí Kexo lo hace muy bien, porque el killer en teoría es bueno. Si el killer amaga que va a ir por la derecha, significa que va a venir por la izquierda. Entonces Kexo es 50-50, es jugársela. Pero si aplicas la lógica, killer bueno que amaga por la derecha va a venir por la izquierda. Aquí Kexo se la ha jugado, el killer ha hecho amago, pum, me lleva al otro lado, y ya, pelado como gambilla.
But even the charge is now coming out, and the perfect read by Kexo, and that was not the best decision by the Chucky to go for the corner attempt there, because now the survivor has access back towards the mid of the map, can reach another pallet or another tile. Horrible start for the killers, so much time from the clock, and still all the survivors healthy and spreading
Muy bien, Kexo.
across the generators right here. Kexo keeps juicing. This is so beautiful to watch.
He's putting up an amazing run. DW needs to catch up and needs to catch up now. We're closing in, but another wall coming in. This time he doesn't make it. First hit onto Kexo, but also the first gen coming out, and the second one on its way as well. You're not gonna get this down without a second gen happening. And you gotta ask yourself, for how long do you want to chase this cold guy Kexo, putting up a run for his life? Another Jew coming out, but I don't think there's much more resources he can work with. Another window.
Bueno, muy bien aguantado por Kexo, muy bien aguantado la verdad.
Twice, but go down to the ground. It's the first hit stage for DW.
Y tiene golpe decisivo,
But two gens, there's a constant. Oh, and both
This is
totems dire.
both. This is so unfortunate now for our killer. We have both Hex totems that are leaving the
Ahora ya solo está con gancho flagelante y la otra perca.
trial. Yeah, Hex Ruin is saying goodbye, and it would have been a nice tool for the killer.
La otra persa toma por culo.
First hook stage in, 2 generators have been completed already. And
Aquí dan muy mal.
this is going to be dropping the pallet and allowing the Chucky to jump onto him injured now, but we need it down now. Blue, we basically needed this down 2 minutes ago, so in best case our killer is going to turn the clocks backwards
Aquí dan muy doblado, la verdad.
to make it happen here. We need definitely much more pressure in hook stages than this.
With this down coming in pretty early though,
Bueno, hasta los mejores juegan mal de vez en cuando. No son robots.
to have a bit more pressure across the survivors. We had 2 survivors going for the reset and for the save. So only one working on a gen now. Dan is on the hook, so another objective you have to take care of. But we need those injuries. We need those chases and these downs. Yesterday, even before the trial even happened, if you were to know how it's going now, find that, which would be another fresh stroke. The first slice and dice dices the wall, might make the knife a bit less sharp there. But you still need to find a first injury. No going into the library. Zarka is the one in chase. Question is DW going to commit to that? Nope. We're going to find another one.
It doesn't really matter here who you're chasing at the
Muy
moment.
bien aquí DW.
Because you also don't really have this specific target that is leading you into the goal, right? Usually we can tell if this survivor is going to die, this is the optimal next step. Here we need multiple steps. We need a lot of injuries would be good. So Eternal is forced to go into a reset and we have more time on the generator defense. At the same time, you want to repeat the hook stages on one survivor. So it's all going slowly and steady, but as we said, DW needs a
No
lot
llegas, no llegas, no llegas. No sé por qué lo tira.
there was quite some distance being taken here
Con comba sí, pero sin comba no.
by Kexo. This dash attack is not going to find the target. DW now on the Claudette. He reaches the window as well, so that's going to be the next bit of extra time that is lost. Pallet, not
Aquí Kexo se fue un porrillo, pero bueno, estaba muerto igualmente. Aquí no podía hacer nada.
available anymore in this room, so it's just going to be a quick down onto Kexo. We see in the distance Zaka spits 3 with Dan now, 3 healthy survivors. Together with that, 1 generator being completed into 3 gens overall. Blue, would you agree with me that
Un motor más y ganan.
Kexo needs to be the #1 target right now, and quickly?
I mean, honestly, he needs everyone. He needs a 4K right now for the tie, so just go after all of them, but make it quick, honestly. Preferably, don't even have Kexo get on the pro. Oh, what? This not hitting his instrument.
Muy bien, Speech.
So the whole Spit's going for another one around the pallet. And Kexo is not a fuck. Yes, you want him out.
El otro. Déjate aquí.
Oh. Because that's what make it more easy to keep these gens from popping, but overall, listen, I'm not trying to build a bad picture here, but I feel like...
Aquí el killer mal, tenía que haberle metido un M2, primero porque así recupera el poder antes gracias al taladro y segundo porque le mete carnicero 8.0. Aquí en vez de un M1 era un M2.
Maybe this set is lost.
Yeah, we need a miracle. I feel like this is what's more realistically describing what is happening at the moment, because Eternal is not handing out anything. Usually when you want to make a recovery play as the killer, what you need is some survivor mistakes, so you are able to capitalize on them, becoming the dominant role again, and Eternal here is actually playing like Eternal. The first set they were struggling a little.
Es que parecía que llegaba Dana al palet, pero es que no llega, es que es súper rápido el Chucky. Es muy rápido, menos mal que a estas alturas ya del 10 de diciembre del 2024 lo han nerfeado.
Little bit, and they are taking some hits that are hard and would probably take some
Porque este vídeo tiene 2 meses.
survivors out of the blue, but here in this second set I feel like we are getting the actual Eternal power with good coordination, good efficiency and no mistakes, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Qué bien Dan aquí, fabuloso.
With Dan also putting up quite a good run here, winning this mind game on top, that the other generators that are currently being repaired are coming out very soon.
I mean, we'll see if the other survivors are back. We are expecting them to be working on these gens, maybe
Lo está esperando como gambilla, ya Dios la partida.
even tripling one for all we know, because it's all they need to take set number 2 and players into the tiebreaker. And then it's doing a perfect job at keeping DW busy for just long enough
Muy bien aquí, W.
to have the last Dan pop. And I think that's gonna happen in no time. Dan's on the ground now, gonna pick up. Come on, there has to be more progress on another gen. Don't play with me.
No, there's not.
Well, a little bit more, I guess. But
That's
that
interesting to see. And they were taking care of the injuries that we...
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they took care of the injuries that we have seen, but it didn't feel like that Chucky had so much pressure. So either they were setting up something else and repositioning themselves,
Mal tirado el poder.
different generators here, or they have just been sleeping a little bit. Not entirely sure what happened there
Vaya mago que se acaba de comer.
on the survivor side, but it's definitely surprising that there's
Dios, qué pelada de gambilla. El Speech está jugando súper bien.
not more, especially knowing Eternal. Maybe we overestimated the magical hands on the generators, but yeah, a little bit worried for them. And at the same time, it's good for Renaissance, right? That they are now able with the killer side. Like, you definitely earned yourself some time here now.
I think maybe they took chases to the wrong places. They just interrupted themselves on the generators, because if you take the chase into an area where the gens aren't completed yet, you are kind of preventing your own team from putting brokers on the objective. So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
But they're certainly taking care of it now. So let's go, Zaka. We need some more time on the clock for your own team. The clock too much to ask for. He's on the ground now. But we've seen these gens are coming in. They're coming in fast. At least now.
No llega gancho fragante, no llega. Al menos un motor le hacen.
Oh, they are.
El otro no. Ahí está.
This is going to be a good news for Eternal though, and sad for Renaissance here that the plan of tunneling a survivor out is not working out at all. We have the next hook stage that grants 2 minutes and 20 seconds for Eternal's survivor team. Dan and Kexo
Este vale tirado es una mierda.
not at all being the ones that are eliminated here, and now you're going into the next chase with the next survivor that is fresh hook, and the next survivor that would be worth 2 minutes and 20 seconds of hang time. So one thing that Chucky definitely doesn't manage to do here is cutting the survivor team into 3, and we talked about it like 5 minutes ago that Kexo...
Es que, de verdad, esto lo que va a hacer tiene sentido, decirme. Decirme si esto que va a hacer tiene sentido.
is cutting the survivor team into 3.
O sea,
We talked about it like...
lanza el poder aquí y ha impactado allá, yendo por el lado largo. O sea, no es que haya... no. Lado largo, ha llegado a la esquina de aquí.
5 minutes ago, that Kex
Tiene ningún sentido esto, ¿vale? Ningún sentido.
still needs to be the number one.
Y luego se quejarán los Menchuki que son retrasados, porque hay Menchukis que gracias a Dios tienen cerebro, que el nerfeo es muy injusto. En fin, solo mirad esto, ¿vale? No tiene sentido.
Target right now. It's nice that we get Zaka again, but if he even has time for that, he should make sure that he cuts the survivor team to 3 before they are getting the final generator.
They're doing the evil tunneling. That's what we needed earlier during the trial. We needed them out. Now we have seen survivors on the second stage, but look at them. I mean, by now they know they've won this. They're not
Qué pena no tiene adrenalina.
playing to the best of their abilities, and it's going to equal trail. However, 5th gen is coming out, and it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be at least 2 of them leaving, if not all 3.
The great thing why it would be so important to have this sort of 4K is this mental picture that you bring into the tiebreaker, right? If you just would 4K Eternal and make it happen after winning set number 1 to them, you could say, okay, we lost this, but we are clearly dominant and we are clearly stronger than Eternal today, and we can take this. The problem when they are now taking 3 outs in best case is that Eternal is not going to get this impression of Renaissance putting them under pressure, and they are also going to open as the survivor team in the tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker is the only blue, and the blue
6 croquecitos para el Chequi, así que yo os digo. Ha jugado el DW un poquito el Chucky bastante regular, pero bueno, han jugado muy bien los suplentes. Yo digo, es que cuando los suplentes juegan bien, tienes que jugar mucho mejor tú como killer, y es muy complicado la verdad. Incluso con un killer tan fuerte como Chucky, por ejemplo. Vale, pues tenemos tercera partida de Oni, que ya sabéis que yo no os hago spoiler. Veremos quién se lleva el pato al agua. Yo me imagino que será Eternal, vale, no tengo ni puta idea, no me he visto el resultado final, pero me imagino que será Eternal porque les veo mejor equipo. A se le iban a jugar, primer día que juega. El Oni se juega, ¿esto es campos podridos? Sí, creo que es campos podridos. Va con velocidad y tener más de sangre, son los mejores addons que tiene el Oni sin ninguna duda. Y interesante, va con la misma build. Yo con Ruina no jugaría, con Oni, sinceramente. Me pondría otra que le vaya mejor a él. Por ejemplo, yo que sé, desconcierto, porque al principio los inmunes se te pueden complicar bastante. Como haya un Jungle Gym, un Sack, un tal, ni tal, es un desconcierto. Pero bueno, estas 3 perks, pues bueno, están bien. Pero yo la Ruina no la veo, la verdad.
Welcome back, everyone.
Otra cosa es que no te quiten Ruina, tú vayas con el poder todo el rato, entonces Ruina está de puta madre, pero si no, pierde mucho. Prefiero un desconcierto que la usas siempre, o incluso la otra perk que es que control de oleadas, creo que se llama en español, que lo que hace es también es de tótem, es como Ruina de tótem, y lo que hace es que el suplente cuando salta por la ventana se cierra sola, ¿vale? Eso está que te cagas, y son 5 ventanas las que puedes ser suficiente para que, digamos, para que se termine de cerrar todas. O sea, si salta una sexta, la primera se quitaría, ¿vale? Y se bloquearía la sexta.
Tiebreaker, and who would have guessed that a tiebreaker is needed in an eternal game? This is due to Renaissance playing out of their mind.
Ese hit buenísimo.
And DW has been strong today. He's aggressive as well, trying
Al revés se queda la vuelta.
to get the first injury as quick as possible, but there was no survivor, unfortunately. Dan has been found here, has a sprint burst available, and will make sure
Sack, empezar la partida mal rollo.
that he's going over towards the shack. Nice
Pero bueno, si se quita el Sack al principio de la partida tampoco es tan malo, pero hay que quitárselo rápido.
location for the survivors as well here in the corrupted area, meaning that the other 3 survivors can scatter out across the uncorrupted generators, getting some progress early on. Dan, a very known
Tienen la Ruina aquí.
survivor with a lot of good chases, has now also located the Hex Ruin, so this will be called out to the team members. Not entirely sure if Eternal
Qué bien dan, eso, creedme que muchos habríamos saltado.
will go towards
El killer lo hizo
the
bien.
Hex Ruin though, because if the pressure isn't there on the gens by the killer, then you don't have to worry about it. This is usually what Eternal
El Blue es nivel 1, ahí Dan se la ha jugado mucho.
capable of doing, but an unfortunate first hit coming in a little bit too greedy there on the cow tree, underestimating the power of the Bloodlust. This is a good start for DW here.
And it's been so risky. The first gen coming out though, so Eternal is answering. However, I believe Dan's probably running the life, which is why he didn't take the window wall earlier because he never went into a direction where he doesn't have anywhere to go. So now the pallet drop's coming out, but the fury of DW is ready, but he's close enough to maybe
Muy bien aquí el killer. Y Dan se la ha jugado y adiós.
be already take the down then trying to fake the pellet, but going onto the ground. Quite bad, I have to say.
Indeed, Dan
Si el gancho flagelante y no le hacen el cuarto motor, o sea, el segundo motor sería brutal.
going down here, and
Para el killer me
the
refiero.
difficult thing is that we have the power available, right?
Muy bien, esto es muy importante.
Usually when you're taking the first hit, you at least want to make sure that
No puede tirar el poder, ¿vale? Porque si tira el poder y lo pierde, ahora mismo están entre supervivientes escondidos.
the Oni has to use the power afterwards to gain some extra time for yourself. But here in this
Cada poder del Oni es para tirar a uno. Eso es así, mínimo.
case, it has not been successfully done. So now we have mobility, one hit potential, which it can either be used for a very dangerous and very good hook defense, or putting some pressure into the other generators. And if then the survivor is not moving in time,
Foto sesión interesante.
you might find yourself with a slug.
Second gen coming out. You gotta remember the Ruinous also on the hook regarding both,
TP menos nada, no puedes hacer nada contra Oni. Nada, literalmente, o sea.
but finding spits off guard. Signs of fast arm now going back to the hook maybe to prevent the rescue from coming. But Zaka and Ivan, they know that this is probably the play that DW is going to go for. However, not circling back to the hook directly gives them the chance to rescue Dan. But where do you go?
Muy bien giro.
Now we see a survivor and it's already Zaka on the ground. 2 survivors with 1 ability. That's good. Okay.
Y bueno, y tiene 2 heridos en el campo, va cogiendo orbes. Muy bien, de momento lleva bien la partida. Con Oni si te haces 6 culgues está que te cagas, la verdad.
It is absolutely fantastic that we see right now, yeah.
Porque Oni es considerado tier bajo en competitivo, básicamente.
Zaka onto the hook, you have 2 injured survivors, they need to take care of the heal, otherwise Rancid Abattoir is going to turn into a blood bank where they only can constantly take the power from. So you gained yourself some time, you gained yourself a second hook stage. Though I gotta say it looked much more dangerous than Eternal now came back from. So the fact that we had multiple slugs onto the floor and the hook stage and them basically just giving away 1 hook stage and everyone else has faced the reset is kind of impressive here.
Absolutely. Now they just have to keep
Ahí el ace se ha equivocado.
DW
Hit.
from snowballing into this fury over and over. If that's even possible, Zaka is still injured. Now another hit coming on to Dan, so that's another fury for you if you want to take it already, but onto the injured survivor, maybe not needed just
Yo le dejaría herido y me iría por otro, sinceramente, pero bueno.
yet. Team Eternal now has to decide if they want to... Well, they can't go on to the reset for Zaka, so it's Gens first for them. I wonder how many they're gonna pop out until Dan
Y ya
hits
está,
the
sí.
ground. He doesn't have too much to work with. It's a
Ah,
window
bueno, no,
that you're gonna
espérate.
hold over.
Aquí error del Oni.
Over one. Pellet goes straight onto its face. But now what? Another gen coming out with you are caught in the corner. No one can come to rescue because Fury is available. It's just going to be Zaka on its own. There's another filler available.
Este palete es horrible, es una basura.
Let's go.
And yeah, there's one more little filler, not the safest one, not even for Dan here. So he's going to go down onto the floor. That's going to be the second hook stage for him. So we are moving forward and making steps towards that elimination and towards forcing that 3v1 scenario. Spitz and Ivan would be the perfect candidates for the next hook stage from Eternal's perspective. There would be 2 minutes 20 of hang time. Spitz casually viping in the basement here,
Esto es lo que pasa por tirar el poder, que la gente se esconde y no vas a hacer nada.
making sure that the Oni is not going to locate him, Ivan, in the main building as well. So a little bit of hide and seek going on. You want to make sure that the power is running out, then saving Dan in best case. He had a nice feeling though. That's something we have to give them. He knows that something is going on at Shack. He just missed the basement in exchange for the locker here.
Still trying trying to find these survivors, but they're doing a good job at hiding. Dan is close to leaving the
¿Veis? Tira de poder, la gente se esconde y no tiras a nadie.
trial though, so if you want to go for a save, you need to do it now. Or you sacrifice a teammate because someone's trying to secure the first
No van a poder rescatarlo, me parece.
survivor out of the trial. You need something in return for this if your teammate can't. Like what you're seeing in the left corner there is another blood bank, and on the right side there's even more little droplets of blood. So DW isn't in the worst situation.
Otra vez,
He
escondes.
now finds another one. It's another game of hide and seek for it. They still need to.
Uy, uy, uy. ¿Qué le está viendo la bola ahora? ¿Qué te va con objeto de obsesión? Madre mía.
Well, could wait out the next ability, but they've just revealed themselves by clearing both totems. That's, however, the answer they needed. They needed something out of this situation other than just spending time on not getting that.
Nice one there. DW faking.
Yo si hubiese a Iván hubiese tirado el palet mucho más tarde. Es que si lo tiras estás muerto, automáticamente.
That he would attack, forcing the pallet drop, and then Ivan afterwards in a very difficult spot when the pallet has been dropped. Nice 200 IQ play by DW here. Very impressive for Team Renaissance. And now on the shack, a difficult tile to loop her out.
Qué pena, por nada. Si hubiese tenido un segundito más, entra por la puerta y pega el golpe hacia atrás. Pero no tenía seguro.
Spitz holding the corner beautifully here, will be aware of the killer's position. Ivan already picked up in the distance, so not much of value, but Blue, the fact that Dan has been eliminated from this trial, and we are now talking about an Eternal that is operating on 3 survivors only, is greatly impacting the outcome here. Spitz with an unfortunate medium vault, going to take an injury as well, and these injuries, they just keep coming, and they keep happening. Perfect for DW here.
And it's a perfect example for why you do not have any room for error when you're going up against an owner. You want to prevent that first him from coming in this quickly, because that is what it's going to come to, even if you're up against a Team Eternal. Look at what DW can do with all of this power that's just handed to him. By now, I mean, Spitz has been injured for quite a while as well, also been spotted. And DW has all the control. They need to take care of 2 gens. They need to get Spitz back to being healthy if they want to do that, because by now they know he's gonna have his fury at all times. Oh, who's that?
That's going to be Zaka here in the next chase. He has a pallet, nice fake there, that he was about to drop it, only wanted to take that.
Aquí se vio muy legible que te iba a hacer amago. Vale,
That's going to
si
be...
fijáis se queda quieto. Eso de un mal jugador te tira palet, vale, 100%. Pero un buen jugador se queda clavado para que, digamos, piensas que lo va a tirar, pero no lo va a tirar. Por eso fue hacia él.
Zaka here in the next chase. He has a pallet, nice fake there.
Pero bueno, aquí Zaka lee mal por donde viene el killer y se come el cebollón.
He was about to drop it, only wanted to take that, but then overpeaking on the corner here is going to be a quick down. Blue, I don't want to sound too negative, right? I'm more worried. This isn't giving me the 100% Eternal vibes.
Something's off. Something's off,
right? It's not just me.
Creo que el objeto de sesión es un fallo por parte del equipo. Creo yo, la verdad, sinceramente, pero bueno.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Something feels off. They're getting
Porque como Oni vaya con el poder y te vea, vas a estar jodido. Bueno, es cierto que hace combo con distorsión, pero claro, si no tienes distorsión, pues estás jodido.
called off guard very quickly. They're getting
Porque con distorsión tú le ves a él, pero él no te ve a ti. Pero claro, si no tienes cargas, pues GG's.
found very quickly, especially those first hits coming in. We're used to seeing very long first chases from the especially against an Oni. That's something they've been used to. Maybe it's the map. But by now
¿Veis? No tiene cargas de distorsión, le ve la hora.
you would expect these survivors to know how to play each and every map. I mean, listen, they've been around for way too long. It's a struggle bus. On the other hand, to make it look a bit more positive, Team Renaissance is more looking like the first trial they played,
Vale, ahora tiene una carga de distorsión.
right?
Absolutely, they are playing this how they started, and they had this kind of hole during the Chucky set as well. It's just like when we're talking about Eternal, and we've seen Eternal so many times, like what you described, something is off. There is something. something doesn't make sense here. Something is not as eternaling as it usually eternals around us. And I don't know what it is yet, but I'm not used to Eternal being under so much pressure against the Oni.
CK me parece un rango 20, pero bueno, nos puede pasar a cualquiera de nosotros.
It might have been the map, 100%. Rancid
Esos paredes son muy malos, la verdad que son bastante malos. Esos paredes nuevos que han salido en la galaxia.
Avatar can be horrible after the most important pallets have been dropped. It has a lot of dead zones as well. On the other hand, the Tiebreaker map is known ahead of time, right? So for this specific set, both teams had multiple days to prepare. I don't know yet. We will see what's
Muy buena lectura de DBDLeague.
going to be the ultimate result. It's on the corner of the map. Hello, going down right here. Ivan, the final standing survivor in this trial. This would be crazy if he now picks Ivan right afterwards out of the
Mira dónde está escondido. Pues está más o menos por la zona,
locker, but it was actually a locker in the main building, just the wrong one. Holy moly, Blue. This looks like a very
Sabe Loni que está por aquí.
dangerous 4K coming in.
Just imagine going back into main, looking into each and every corner.
Vale, vamos a darle para adelante un
A
poquito.
lot of progress. Yes, they've took ruin from them. But now he's going to lose a lot of pressure. However, Spit's picked up from the ground. Now he knows where both survivors are located. Gets onto Ivan once that first hits. It's a pallet again, and there is the life coming out. So he wasn't even Zaka with the light button that we've been talking about in the beginning. But this is the only pallet you have. You can bloodlust this one. You could also just break it, but we're going for the mind games apparently.
Ivan here, he needs to have more than
Aquí le falta un pelín de calma, pero lo está haciendo muy bien Iván. ¿No?
just a mind. See, this is what I mean. This is what I'm not used to from Eternal, and this is what we have seen multiple times in this Oni set. These mind games, that they are not on point, and of course it can happen on 50-50s, but I feel like quite some of these mind games are not turning out for Eternal in this set.
Hasta que le hacen el motor,
However, weapon with his last episode, go into the opposite dodge and maybe even force the grab to pull them out of power, but that hasn't worked enough.
Creo que se lo hacen,
Are you going back to the generator? It's about
un perfect.
seconds to decide which one are you gonna go to first, but the last gen's gonna pop and that marks at least all gens completed. Now flying Spits, they're not going to the ground yet, but I'm assuming it's not going to be one
Loni, what the fuck.
man out here. Well, if we're not gonna hit the hay ball a third time. However, imagine if
Muy bien aquí, Spitz.
this would have been a 4K with one gen remaining. Just imagine. And I want to circle back on that first chase that we've seen with Zaka on the cow tree, on the pig tree. Cows are pigs. I remember people calling it the cow tree, but I think it's pigs, or even both. But I think this
Let's call it the Weasel tree.
the weasel tree. That first hit just came in way too quick.
Absolutely, the first hit came in too quickly, and then these little mind games that were off. Like Spitz is presenting
El M1 le daba ahí, Le daba.
it very nicely here, even though I feel like the Oni could have swung there. These are the mind games that I'm
Muy bien aquí,
not used to, that Eternal is losing those. And I think this
Me encanta cómo hace el de ¡fua! Y tirar la
would
sangre.
make
Vale,
Eternal
pues.
better
Pues
than
ala, los 4K.
potential.
From them,
Ahí está.
key.
Vale, pues bien jugado por el Loni, la verdad, bien jugado. Los Survey no lo han hecho mal, la verdad, no lo han hecho mal, pero les ha faltado que el primer hit no llegase tan rápido. Es lo que creo que más les ha jodido, el primer hit. Lo han hecho muy bien cuando DW ha tirado el poder y se han escondido todos. Pero claro, luego ha muerto, creo que ha muerto Dan, ¿no? Me parece, ha muerto Dan en el... No me acuerdo quién, creo, no sé si Dan, pero ha muerto alguien en el gancho sin ser salvado, y eso les ha venido muy pero muy mal, perder a un compañero tan rápido. Pero bueno, a ver qué tal lo hacen en la partida de Killer. Jugará, me imagino, Zakas, efectivamente. Vale, va con el hecho de tal intervención corrupta, interesante la verdad, para ir a saco para alguien y meter un M1 cuanto antes. Intervención corrupta porque sabes que con Oni vas a tratar en tirar a alguien. Entonces con Oni esto lo compro. ¿vale? Estas dos cosas, lo compro. Nuevamente, has hecho la introducción corrupta, no lo hagáis, ¿vale? Realmente es algo malo. Sin escondite, perdón, sin escapatoria, para al final de la partida tener más tiempo y poder hacer más cuelgues. Y jugar con la comida, que es muy buena con Oni. Yo esta la juego normalmente y es muy buena porque puedes ir corriendo con un 15% extra de velocidad, que con este addon creo que te da un 13%, no me acuerdo muy bien, creo que te da un 13%, vas un 28% más rápido, eres literalmente un torpedo y entonces puedes dar hostias muy interesantes.
Zaka the monster coming out on the killer for Team Eternal with the lethal pursuer, seeing all of the survivors spawning right around the tree with the animals hanging from it, because I'm not gonna bunch it up again. Is this our
¿Veis? Es la obsesión, se acerca y se va.
last trial for this matchup? So let's see if it's going to be a 2-1 in favor of Team Eternal or Team Renaissance.
And imagine with this win condition of a stage out of the
Se ha
door
ido muy rápido, tiene que esperar a que esto...
means that all 5 gens done being only the
Ahora
tie,
dos.
we might even have replay or
Y ya con 2 marcas se nota muchísimo, es como ir con Blooders nivel 2, ¿vale?
Oh, we've lost another survivor, switching up the chase. You already see one gen having quite a lot of progress.
Pero también lo de acecho y tal lo hace mucho con jugar la comida, porque claro, tú ves a los supervivientes desde el inicio de la partida, no sé que tengan distorsión, pero claro, tú ves las figuritas de los supervivientes y le dices, vale, este es Yoichi, que es la obsesión, pues voy a por él para empezar a coger fichas desde el inicio de la partida, así que está muy bien pensado acecho y tal para empezar a sumar fichas cuanto antes.
On there, and there we go. Vacuum in the chase now. We left the first survivor. Let's see if the second one can
Y ya está. Como la dificultad de Oni es pegar el primer M1, gracias a 2 fichas de jugar con la comida, pues es bastante más fácil pegar un M1, ¿vale? Así que está muy bien pensado por parte de ZK. Muy buena build, me gusta.
chase, but there it is. The first hit coming in. It's not as quick as we've had in the last trial, though, I believe.
yeah, definitely going to make sure that the trials are comparable here. So you want to have the first chase, the first injury, the first power appearing as quick as you can. This is a very important thing for you. It's very nice also when you find a second individual survivor, because this allows you to take the power almost immediately. And now, if you are now circling to a third survivor potentially while using the power, that is the ultimate pressure that you can put up here. Instead, though, David is going to drop this pallet early.
Este pallet es el mejor del mapa, capa.
Will stay in chase, making some valuable distance for himself. This is not the safest pallet on Rancid though, so it's more than understandable that he's holding W.
Como podéis apreciar, aquí hay un poquito de oxígeno, por aquí también un poquito de oxígeno, por la derecha había un poquito de oxígeno y la verdad es que, en fin, que el mapa este hecho una ruina, literalmente. No es lo mismo jugar Oni en Torre de Carbón que Oni aquí. O sea, aquí es más fácil jugar, la verdad, las cosas como son.
And it's an edge map, and the moment's getting going to the ground. The first 6 stage is going to come in. We have, ooh, no gens popping so far, but we do have quite some ending perks on that as well. I hope you've noticed.
Estar herido contra Oni, mal rollo,
Absolutely, yeah. The thing that's standing out here next to what you just picked up on is that our survivors are significantly slower on rotating towards the individual objectives, right? What we have seen by Eternal, even though we were talking about the early game being relatively problematic, is that we at least have the significant progress on multiple objectives on
Es que el Oni es increíble.
the map. And in exchange to the previous trial, we are now facing
Yo jugué ayer contra un Oni y me hizo parecer rango 20, porque no tenía pallets, entonces caía, mis persecuciones duraban aproximadamente 2 segundos.
unhook being needed,
Es lo que tiene que estar sin pallets.
luck need to be picked up, and all of this with the 0 generators completed, but there's also not this one generator where
Con agilidad lo he intentado, pero es complicado. Es que el Oni es muy rápido.
you say, well, if someone is touching that next, then it's going to be completed, and we are back to 2 slugs here, so Zaka in a significantly better position than the previous trial.
Yeah, 2 players touching the ground right now, and the one gen that we've had at least some progress on got kicked and now is starting to regress. This is this isn't good. This isn't a good start for Team Venezuela. Say, oh, but Zaka is turning it around for Team Encounter. I think if we can keep this up, this is going to be significantly better than the result we've seen from them the last time.
Ya pueden curar otro rápido o están trijodidos, porque 2 en el sótano es GG's para el killer.
Basement hook as well now. Hard to rescue from, difficult to rescue.
Aquí el error ha sido que el suplente no ha sido cagada del suplente que ha venido a curar, no ha sido cagada del suplente que está tirado. ¿Por qué? Me explico. Mira.
Basement hook as well now. Hard to.
Vale, aquí si fijáis el suplente se ha puesto en esta cornisa, o sea, se ha puesto tirando hacia el interior del saco. Lo que tiene que hacer el suplente que está siendo curado es echarse hasta el exterior, porque así cuando sea curado el surbi que está sano le protege por detrás. Pero claro, si está él por delante es muy difícil para el surbi quitárselo y volverse a poner. Por eso el surbi tiene que haberse echado medio metro para adelante y ya está. Ahora, aquí si os fijáis se quedan body bloqueados y adiós.
Difficult to rescue for most of the time being a trade, and this pickup was really not worth it as Claudette is now
Ya es GG's, vale, con este error ya la partida está ganada para hacer.
also going to be in chase. Renaissance falling apart on 5 generators, standing here.
No me he visto el resultado de la partida, os lo juro, pero sé que ya con esto va a ganar Zack.
This gang needs to move over because we need all the survivor power that we have available. All the manpower basically needs to be at the shack right now, not taking the next injury. Power is half filled, but we have a blood bank here on the Rancid Abattoir, and if this is going to be a double hook
Pues a ver si Skeng está cerca y puede hacer rescates, ¿no?
in basement and Skeng didn't come over in time to rescue them, this is going to be one of the most difficult recovery challenges in the last few games.
And
Pues ya está, ya no van a poder hacer nada.
one hell of a dominant performance
Si le hacen un motor más es un logro. Hola.
from Zaka. He was able to catch them off guard though. They were kind of out of position to be in this gen again. They've tried to stop it from regressing, but it's not gonna do much good. And like you said, there's no one who's rotated in by now to go for the save, and there's only 2 survivors left. You can't just sacrifice these 2, go for the last remaining gens and then leave. At some point, you will have to go down there if you're not sacrificing yourself to this trial, because
Es la última partida y ya está.
is there even a comeback possible from a situation like this?
Oh, I mean, if we calculate the
Lo está
times,
viendo,
right?
lo está viendo.
Vacuum is the survivor that is hanging longer in the basement than the other one. He has round about 80 to 90 seconds. We see 1 generator being completed here. This means if this survivor is rotating over, he needs 90 seconds on the gen. So even if Zaka is camping Vacuum to the very end, and these survivors are quick on the gens, we are only hitting the end game with 2 survivors being eliminated, and then you can.
Es que tienen que hacer 5 motores, o sea, es súper jodido.
The tie would be possible realistically if Zaka decides to camp. If they are ultra efficient, they can still bring this to a tie.
And what happens in case of a tie dyer?
Then we're going to replay in the opposite order, meaning that Zaka is staying on the killer side and opening it up on Rancid
Qué buena, muy buen giro.
with the Oni for Eternal. But with this blue, I can answer your question. A comeback is not possible.
Oh, Zaka is now leaving Skeng on the ground looking for that last nod, for the last survivor, nodding himself actually, because he knows he's got the power, he's in control, and there is no coming back from this one. I'm sorry to tell you, but I think this thing has been decided. But I was standing at the edge of the basement stairs to secure the kill on Vacuum, to not go for a cheeky save, but was searching for him roaming around the map. This is insane. This trial, for how long have we been here? For how long has this trial been going on? This
Just a couple of minutes, not too long.
That's so quick.
Pues ya está.
Zaka is Zakaing, as usual. That's something we can note down here for today. And he could even go for the bleed out onto Skeng, because remember, due to the new rule in the scoring, we would disregard the escape of not if not all generators are completed.
Uy,
So
la he visto, la he
if
visto.
Not is escaping through the hatch or exit gate while a generator was still standing, it would still count as 12 hook stages
Ha hecho mal el giro.
on 4 survivors. We are spotting the next survivor though. This is the Claudette that was playing hide and seek for a little
Ahí hizo bien el giro, pero Claudio lo ha jugado muy bien.
bit here, and with the responsibility to go for the pickups, not going to be with a successful hit right here, but Zaka has more time.
Anda lento en los movimientos Zaka aquí.
Since
Hizo muy bien el giro contra el DBD, pero ahora está liando.
the power is not running out yet, but Claudette serving the juice on this deal.
And both survivors are back up standing. Maybe a glimpse of hope for Team Renaissance. If there's any chance to come back, well, it is now. You need a chase that's gonna last forever, and you need more progress on these gens. And even though it looks hopeless, they have to take their chance even with a little bit of extra speed. So maybe
Aquí no hay
there's
palets,
some
así que adiós.
chance for them to turn this into a tie. But as I'm saying, this Mitch get found nowhere to go except the edge map. You're gonna pop them right away and give away your location. Are you gonna let not hang there? Because at some point Zaka's gonna know where you're at, even if you're 99. Both of these gens, you have to make your way over from one 99 gen to another.
No puedo hacer el motor porque si lo hace va a saber dónde está el Oni.
And this
Claro,
is
es una
a
putada.
bunch of theory. This is a bunch of what ifs.
Bunch of theories. I'm getting a little bit remembered of the old times in DBD. It's definitely coming out.
Ahí está
So
el
they
motor,
are
así que
teasing it
ya
here.
saben dónde está.
Renaissance on generator number 4. It's not realistic that they go for another one though, because also not is going
Liberación,
to.
muy bien.
Oh, with
Oh!
the... Never mind. Blue, have we called something too early? Yeah?
Maybe, but it makes it even more exciting that this one's gonna be a long one though, and now power coming out, it's way
Eso no debe haberlo fallado,
but
Eso sí error.
not it coming out just yet. He makes the window one, but how many times can he do that again? Nice mind game.
Muy bien, David King aquí.
Coming out, Skeng putting Saka on its feet. Nice turn, but not good enough. All he got
Se están mareando mucho, para ser solo dos personas.
is the window leaving this though, because he knows Nod is going to make his way over to one of those gens who hopefully started to get repaired, but he's leaving scratch marks. And he's been spotted.
Está fallando mucho Zaka, mucho.
I love this fight that Renaissance is putting. Just the fact that we are concerned that we might have announced something too early, this for sure. The fact that we were unsure found now Renaissance pushing it into the tiebreaker. I would be so happy for surprises like. I feel like this is a team
ahí la
that
visto y
truly
adiós.
deserves to
Ahí
be
está.
known for surprises like this.
Ooh, there comes the and ruins the party. This gang has been found, and to be honest, I mean, you're losing blocks everywhere. It's kind of like a game of Hensa and Fiddle, if you know what I'm talking about. So, it was about time, but the fact that they even got that last 10 out is insane. And I think
Claro, ya saben que han perdido porque tienen que hacer un motor más, ya saben que han perdido.
we're going to get another leather 1v1.
I mean, hopefully. And better one with a long chase time, right? When we are already celebrating that the game is coming to an end. Reminder again, this edge escape is not going to make anything for
Ya
this
está. Pero bueno, ya habían ganado igualmente, por eso la he dejado salirse.
score. It still counts as a 12 hook
Bien, pues eso. Espera, no sé si han ganado por el número de motores, claro.
with 4 individual survivors,
Vale.
because not all.
Pues ahora me imagino
Fine.
hay 2 puntos para Eternal, un puntito para Renounce y nada. Me ha gustado mucho este equipo, la verdad. Sobre todo el nivel de supervivientes, la verdad. El nivel de killer, bueno, pues juega bien el killer, está bien, pero el nivel de supervivientes me ha gustado mucho. Joder, le han sacado un punto a Eternal que creo que son los anteriores campeones. Entonces está muy, pero que muy bien. Y nada, eso, que nos vemos ya mañanita con el siguiente videito. Y nada, espero que os haya gustado el análisis, la partidita. Y nos vemos la mañanita que viene con más vídeos de DBDLeague. Chau, chau, chau.